Good evening, everybody. My name is Brandon. I'm with Eastern Kill Distillery out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. First off, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. These types of events are really cool. Thanks to the entire Riverdog team for putting it on and including myself. I'm honored to be here alongside of the Ironfish team. That's a working fam that we love dearly, and we think they make really great products here in Michigan. So we hope you all enjoyed this tonight. Um, Obviously, under different circumstances, I'm sure we all wish we could be under one roof and enjoying this experience together. But I do think it's pretty cool that teams are going outside of their comfort zones and thinking outside the box to still bring unique experiences during this very interesting year we're living in. So yeah, again, my name's Brandon. Um, so I think what we have in front of us this first round is our breakfast fry. And when Steve and I, who's my good friend and business partner, started the distillery in Grand Rapids, Michigan 5 years ago, we had one goal in mind, and that was to make the best whiskey that we possibly could right here in Grand Rapids. As you probably know, most rye and especially bourbon comes from the state of Kentucky. We wanted to set out and make our whiskey grain to glass right here in the city that we call home and love dearly. So um, that's what we did the first few years. Obviously, there's some waiting game to it. You can see all these barrels behind me. We don't release a whiskey until it hits a minimum of about 2.5 years. That's still relatively young in the whiskey world, but we believe that our double pot stilled processes allows it to capture enough flavor to stand up to the barrel and in 2.5 years be really pleasant to sip on. I hope you enjoy tonight. Um, that said, we do have some barrels that are nearing their 4.5-year-old mark, which is about exactly when we started distilling 4.5 years ago. So we do understand the value of longer ages too. And basically, we're inviting all of our fans and customers to kind of head on this whiskey journey with us. Start consuming and tasting our stuff, our profiles right now, and then kind of see. Hopefully, you continue to taste, and we can all see where we end up 6 to 10 years from now when we kind of have a fully mature line of whiskeys. So, um, back to breakfast rye. So, breakfast rye starts out with the base of our rye whiskey. Our rye whiskey is 85% rye grain and 15% malted barley. This allows it to be very rustic, earthy, and the rye grain, the 85% of rye grain is going to provide a really nice spice level to it. I'm proud and happy to say that our rye whiskey just took home a double gold medal 2 years ago in the New York International Spirits Competition. We were very excited to hear that news, and from there, this rye base then goes into a maple syrup barrel for an extra 6 months. And what that maple is going to do is kind of round it out a little bit. It's going to soften the spice that the rye presents, and we jokingly call it a gateway rye. It's going to be a little bit more accessible to those of you that might not like a whole lot of spice in your whiskey. So we're fortunate to get some really cool maple syrup barrels from our friends at Kille. It's a company in Grand Rapids that takes maple syrup, ages it in bourbon barrels for, I believe, a year, and it is a absolutely delicious maple syrup that you should definitely seek out if you get the opportunity. Um, Basically, that barrel is going to have still a lot of maple syrup in the wood grain. That as our liquid moves in and out of the wood pores, it's going to grab a bunch of that flavor. So we're not dumping any maple syrup in, so you'll notice it won't be cloyingly sweet. It'll just have enough sweetness from the inside of that wood to balance out some of the rye. So whether you're going with the delicious cocktail they've prepared for you today or sipping it straight, I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next round.